All right, I think we're on. Oh, yes, I can.
All right,
Good morning, everyone.
all the technologies, please.
I think so.
Every channel, all bat channels.
Instagram. There you are.
It's a bit like New Zealand in the 1970s where we had 2 television channels. So still have 2 channels, but it's Facebook and Instagram now. Not
Was New Zealand settled by the English in the 1970s?
yeah, but only in black and white. So it wasn't settled in colour until quite a lot later.
Colour is good.
Yeah.
Good.
Two channels keeps it simple though. It's where the public are.
Is good.
We might as well do it before Mr. Zuckerberg decides to charge you $1 million for broadcasting on his platform.
Don't know what. You don't need more than 2 channels. You don't. Not free to air anyway. But what's been going on this week, so Michael?
Well, of course, controversial week. We all had the day off yesterday, and the entire nation of Bogans is mourning the loss of sitting in a paddling pool, drinking 4X, getting pissed, listening to the top 100, and arguing over whether Taylor Swift should have been there. So a giant gap has been left
By Taylor Swift.
Yeah, in society, in Australian society, by the loss of the top 100. We, of course, are liberal-thinking foreigners, Canadian and Australian,
Inner city elites.
New Zealander and wannabe Australian.
Yeah, I'm a nowhere country person.
Yeah, so we don't care that much and don't have paddling pools. So,
are you a Taylor Swift man?
no, not really. She does write great tunes. The structure's fantastic, but
She's catchy. Yeah.
I don't know if she writes them necessarily. She might have a hand in them, but
Yeah.
she's apparently an extremely talented human. But anyway, there's a giant gap because the hottest 100 isn't until this next 2 weeks. Those liberal thinking Triple J folk.
When did they make? Yes, you know who you are.
Good on 'em.
Every one of you. No, it's
So we
nice work.
So we
Why
should
not?
revisit the concept of the hottest 100. It is the 20th anniversary of the 1998 hottest 100, which is the one that the first hottest 100 I ever heard.
1998 hottest 100, the all-time
Yeah,
greats.
was the
Let's
all-time
do it.
greats. In '98, you could vote for anything way back. So
Yeah.
all along the watchtowers on it. They changed the rules later on. But what do you reckon was the hottest song in 1998 of all time? Not just that year. Or what did Australians vote to be the number 1 song of all time in 1998?
1998. Let me think back. I didn't even have a mobile phone back then.
Yeah, did you have a trucker cap though? Can you
I had a
can you
trucker
channel
cap.
the
I've
vogue?
always had a trucker cap.
Yeah.
Today's trucker cap is from Noosa Longboards. Thank
Yep.
you. What was it? What was number 1?
Smells Like Teen Spirit. That was considered the anthem of Australian youth.
Smells
of
alright.
all time.
He'd smell it by that stage because he'd been dead for a while.
Yeah.
So, Tommy.
How do you do it? How does it go?
Or let's. What are you playing? What have you got there in your vicious little hands?
Back into the store is the Don Grosh.
Yes.
I like the P91 especially. This is the humbucker one.
Mm-hmm.
Owning that pair would be one of my life's goals because they are, once again, stunning
Looking
handmade.
machines. Handmade American machine by a fellow called Don Grosh. This has just come back into the shop actually, in a beautiful bronzy orange with humbuckers, and we had one with P90s, which was delicious. It was just delicious.
Taken away by a serious musician, unfortunately, so I'm not likely to see it
Bring
again.
it back.
Yeah. No.
And this, of course, this is a custom shop telly in grape. Beautiful grape. This is a Journeyman Relic. And you know what that means? It means imagine yourself as a journeyman or journeywoman, journey person, and you've travelled the country, but you've kept it in relatively okay condition. But it's been played for a long time, and so the back of the neck is worn away. And the frets are kind of a little bit, well, these are not worn, but they kind of look worn. So the fretboard's really chunked out there. You can see that. I actually have some interesting information.
Excellent. Yep.
And I won't get too deep into it.
No, we do need to play some music.
We will play some music.
Yeah. This is not Triple J where we're going to talk between the songs.
No. How many people have we got on? 30,000. Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's a bit down on last time.
Let's be
30.
careful. Yeah.
Apparently, Gibson USA
Sure. Fine company.
has no Australian distributor now.
That's disturbing.
That is disturbing. Young Gallons, Allens, Billy Hydesy, musicians, Pro Shop, etc.
Done with it. That's a 20-year deal gone south. That's like those names are synonymous.
That's big time, big time. Do you think if I tip this a little bit, it will cut out the camera?
I don't know.
Please don't.
Careful with the technology there.
There we go. That'll bring more guitars into the picture at some point. Let's see. We're behind on the stream.
That is, yeah.
You did
it. You did
done it. Look at that.
Nice.
Okay, now we're looking good. We've got shorts on and everything. Cool. Okay, well, what about...
So no Gibsons. So we're going to do it. How much money have you got? I've got... Let's have a look.
We're definitely... How much money have you got in your wallet?
I've got the 50 for my lesson, and that's it.
Okay. If Gibson USA, if you're watching out there, we have $50.
Yep.
Anyone else would like to chip in with some money?
$1 million to get
1
stock.
million.
There's
Or
the problem,
$50.
you know, the problem with you becoming a wholesaler, other than at this scale, is you would have to look at every single guitar and play it and put the Colonel's stamp of approval on it. And I'm seeing a bottleneck here in our plan for world domination. So
even thinking about that, I had a couple of sherbets last night, and normally I don't, and I'm feeling a bit patchy. And even just thinking about that, my head is ready to explode.
it's like you have to test and tune 50 guitars a day. Your quality of life is not what it was.
Man, that's terrible. Let's look at Smells Like Teen Spirit. Let's look at the chords.
Because every teenager wants to play this, and I'm 16 years old as it comes to guitar playing. And
Teenagers, some Nirvana.
Yep.
Some Ice. Is that what they do?
I'm not
Is that
sure.
what the young people do?
Yeah, it's
and a little bit of schooling.
A bit of Genola or something like that. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start. You can play it as power chords, or you can play it as real chords, but it's up to you. I will give you the option. It's an F,
which is a very sad.
It's
Proper F.
the color of sadness. F. To a B flat.
Oh.
To an A flat.
So again, all about the timing. 4 simple chords, but
let's have a look.
How many of each does he play?
Well, what we'll do is that's the chord change, right? So F to B flat, A flat to D flat. That delicious elbow you see in camera is my executive assistant, didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Did. That's all right. Look, wait, are you ready? Which one?
There it is.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll tell you what. Don't
shake the thing.
It's a limited connection. Right. Let's have a look at the rhythm. So the rhythm.
It's a Malcolm Turnal warranty connection.
He's got this.
Okay.
Which is just I'm not actually holding anything there. It's a nothing. So between the F and the B flat.
What's that called and how's it done?
Okay. I call it nothing. So F to B flat, but in between that change, I'm going to leap off the strings, and I'm kind of just muting the strings there. That's it.
Okay,
So
you
you
say
play
that
around.
simple, but that is important because one guitarist in the band, so he has to play all the parts. So that's a nice little fill.
Yes.
Yep.
Neil on guitar, Neil Hawker.
Indeed.
We promote him every time.
We do, but he does a lot of gigs, so it's sort of like he's like three different guys. He's like a secret agent of music because he plays in so many bands. And
he's a blues schizophrenic.
He is. He can do anything.
He can do anything.
Yeah.
Hi Neil.
Morning.
Let us know where you're playing next. He was at the, I think he was at the Paris Cap, and he's got a do you know Bar Open?
I do.
It's like one of the last remaining grungy bars of Melbourne. So, like no toilet, you just wee on the floor.
Right.
If you've got to go, you go.
Yeah, it's like the casino.
It's it's not as grungy as that.
Right.
No, it's not full of full of.
Let's not go there.
No, yeah, it's not even babies in cars.
Yeah.
Turkish people.
That's an Australia Day tradition as well.
Did you leave your baby in the car
yesterday?
You better go and check. Yeah, Bar Open. So he's upstairs at Bar Open.
Oh.
And it's just like old school grunge. And I think the guy
he's a bit of a journeyman.
Speaking of Journeyman, I'm playing the Journeyman Tele Relic. I think I've done the promotion already, and I'm going to do it again in grape.
That'd be a good guitar for him, but he's got a slightly fancier one, isn't he?
He picked up a Tele from us. A beautiful blonde Aryan looking machine. Okay, so that's
right.
The beginning of the song. Let's chuck in another part. So after you've done your F to B flat, A flat to D flat,
yep,
we're going to do this.
Oh, okay.
The sound of grunge. So it's an F, yep. And now where my middle finger is, which is technically it's on an A sharp or a B flat, okay? I'm going to get all my other fingers off. I'm just going to play that one string. And I'm going to bend it while I hit
keep
the
playing
B
it
as well.
Played wrongly.
It's a bit like it's like the Beatles song.
That's cool.
But it's not quite like that. That's it. So you bend it. And if you don't bend it right, you'll have the neighbourhood cats coming to have sex with you.
Yeah, there are.
It's the call of cat sex.
There are the alleyway outside the Colonel's. I can hear them gathering.
And sometimes late at night, I'll peer out the window, and I like to watch cat sex. Not all the time though, only a little bit. So what I'm doing is
side of South Melbourne.
Yes. So I have the F to the F sharp. B flat to A flat. That's it.
It's quite a lot more complex than you'd imagine the typical teenager grasping or picking up off the internet themselves.
Yes, well, I think that's the thing with chords. I can't see your guitar being picked up through the room mic, but that's okay. It's coming through on the other mics. But when you go and look at tabs and things, which is great, but yeah, if you go to Ultimate Guitar and type in, what was what I was doing the other day? It was an Oasis song, and I think 8 million people had said it's 5 stars, it's 100% correct.
Yeah.
But there was a chord mistake, like literally in the first block.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is crazy. So,
well, and the dilemma with all those sites is that they're also trying to be businesses.
Right.
So I logged into Ultimate Guitar last night trying to decipher a King Gizzard song.
King Gizzard,
and I could not get through the 15 pages promoting me to become a pro member of and it's like the internet, I hate you. I want humans. I want someone to show me.
Yeah, they make porn so easy, thank God. I mean, what else would I do? Right, let's do it. 3, 4. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That there is a C, and that is an F. Okay. So, and that's essentially the song. You have part one. You have the, when he starts singing.
That signals the beginning of the sing.
And then if you've just joined in, we're having a look at the Hottest 100, which is no longer, oh, they've just moved it, they've shoved it down the road.
They've moved it to a more respectful day, I'm pleased to say. But we're going back 20 years ago.
We're going back 20 years to when it was like the all-time great, the all-time best.
What did Australia vote to be the number one song of all time in 1998?
1998, Australia voted for, which dead person was it?
Oh, Kurt Cobain, Nirvana.
Kurt Cobain.
Smells Like Teen Spirit. What about an Australian song?
Oh yeah.
Why couldn't that have been number one?
Well,
got to number two.
Yeah, it's like the tennis. When you watch the tennis, but you need to have an international celebrity in the audience to really make it kind of good.
Yes. Well, it's a
Hello,
bit of fun.
Instagram.
Kira Lee says hi.
Hey.
Kira Lisa, hello Kira Lee. She's a young person, and she's not on Facebook, but she's on the younger people's application.
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Oh,
Grindr,
it's got a complicated
Tinder.
world.
Is that it? Is that what we
Yeah,
use?
I don't know.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on.
Yeah, we need some accompanying music,
I'm going to put on a dress. No, I'm going to put on "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
which is going to remind us that then, although I've now learned the chords, I can't play them fast nor in time.
We're going to do it. Are you ready? Oh, I think this. Hopefully, this won't blow the speakers. Ready? That is your two notes. So, no, you can play them up here. You get the idea.
Oh.
I'll just kill that sound for a second. Oh yeah, okay. Audio is looking good. Thank you, Kurt. Should we have a look at the solo?
Please, yes. Not that I'm able to do much with it, but I'd like to know how it goes. That's
Let's
the
have a
thing.
look. Let's have a look. Okay, so solo. We start. So I'm using my third finger, and I'm going to slide up to 10 on the fourth string, which is a C. That's the one? Yep.
Ah.
That's it.
ask you a question. How on earth do you remember that? Do you hold the actual riff in your head in a library and pop it out and mimic it, or have you?
The original version of Spotify is based on my poor, dope-smoked 1990s brain.
Right.
And so,
at the time, you locked away a lot of tunes.
I locked away a lot of tunes. And Spotify contacted me and said, can we do a Ray Kurzweil and tap into your brain? And I said, sure. Can I have a beer? And they gave me a beer and they tapped into it, and that was it.
And they tapped a little core through to this library of ridiculous
They went through the
size.
cobwebs and the dead rat on the turn wheel, and they passed that, and then they found something, a tiny little grape size speck.
And that
used for processing.
So in the same era, I was filling my brain full of the specifications of Motorola chips and Intel memory specifications. You were filling it full of riffs.
I was just doing riffs. That's all I could do.
So the world where I can have that, a little USB connection to USB connection, I'd pay good money for that.
People would say, Anthony, come and have dinner and have a drink. I'm like, what? Dinner? Drink? But play the riff to, Nirvana. Sure.
No problem.
So on the single version, he only does that once. I'll just go over it one more time if you're interested.
Yeah.
I'll call it out as tab. So 4-string, 10, 8, 10, 4-string, 6, then 8 on the 3rd string. You got that's cat 6.
That's horrible.
That's all right. 6, 5, 6, 5, 4th string. Semitone. That's it. And with lots of feedback. That's my feedback sound.
Is there any kind of musical principle to that? Because it didn't look like a pentatonic to me, for example. I suppose the remnants of a pentatonic are there.
I would say that is... It's like an A-flat major scale almost. So if you take these notes... It's not really an F scale because that's in it. So wacky. Yeah, I'd say A-flat major.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd.
That's creative of them.
Or B-flat Dorian. There you go.
Right. That's for Neil.
That's for Neil. Neil, away you go and figure that out, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty much it. Oh, are you appearing on A Current Affair this week?
I might be. There's rumours of it. Yeah.
Tell us about that. What's going on?
I'm a news hound because the hot story of the week in my other life is artificial intelligence. So everyone's starting to think about that. So an AI kernel, for example, would be a useful thing.
I would move so fast you'd need a strobe light to see me.
And it is a classic. Australia's very afraid of AI, but imagine what your business could do, a humble, guitar salesman, if there were two of you. If you could have one online and one in the shop, you could teach and be a virtual one. I think that's actually not a bad thing. Provided you got the internet in the shop, that would be good too. But because your artificial intelligence is kind of basically blind, dumb and deaf if it doesn't have bandwidth.
I need some NBN. I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Amazon Echo
coming
out. What do you think about all that?
Well, I did launch a product on that in my other life this week, so early stages. That's you beginning to talk to computers. I know you talk to your computer all the time because you've got no mates, but...
No, when it's off, I don't even... Like when it's off, I just sit there and... Are you okay?
Can you remember back in 2007, everyone laughed at touching the screen of a phone. That was like the stupidest thing we'd ever heard of. Well, in 2018, everyone laughs at talking to a computer, and it's exactly the same. This is the year we learn to. None of the setup of this. You wouldn't be pressing buttons. You just go, "Hey computer, get the studio running," and
I like that.
make it all work. So
Kind of
I think
voice activated.
my
everything.
view is this is a great thing, that this is an opportunity for Australian businesses to amplify themselves, particularly small businesses. But it's not the universal belief, that classic thing where, the robot. Who made the robot guitar? Was that a Gibson with the robot tuning thing?
That's a Gibson.
Yeah.
That's why they're about to declare bankruptcy, I think.
I'm not sure, but that's a good metaphor of the robot tuning guitar. Was a brilliant, to me, was an ace idea where it just tuned itself. You just tuned the string and boom, it was a magic thing to watch. The musicians didn't like it.
No, I think it's trying to maybe put too much lipstick on an old car as such, But I mean, great sort of vision to try and do it.
Yeah, that's why I love guitars. I mean, this technology is from the 50s.
This is a 50s thing. Oh, Luke, no, I haven't got my glasses on today. Luke Nelson says, "What's the telly?"
What's the telly?
This is a Journeyman Relic. I've said it much earlier, and I'm going to say it again. It's a nice guitar, and it's had a journey with a journey person, and it's worn on the back of the neck there. But custom shop, 2016 in grape sparkle, which is the color. It's my eyeshadow color for later tonight when I'm out on Grey Street in St Kilda.
It does remind me of Prince, and so my viewing of the week on Netflix. The New Zealand Netflix, Netflix.
Yep.
I watched the Obama, the Larry, what's his name, interview with Obama.
Letterman?
David Letterman. David Letterman interviewing Obama, and one of the most stunning images from that was 3 months before Prince died. He did a concert with, and the Obamas were there.
Right.
And so there's this incredible photograph of Obama dancing on the stage with Prince on guitar and singing just behind him.
You wouldn't see Donald Trump doing that.
I don't know who. No, everyone's refused to actually
The
go
only
to.
thing you would see Donald Trump doing is like shooting weapons with Ted Nugent or something.
Yeah.
Which would probably be fun. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind doing that.
That would get a lot of views.
Greg Dodd has joined us. Do you know Mr. Greg Dodd?
No.
He's another blueser
Oh man,
from
I'm
around the
feeling the pressure.
country. I'll play a blues lick for Greg. That's terrible.
Right.
So, Greg, come in and play some blues licks.
Well, is that enough grunge for the day? I'm not,
Yeah,
we've got
I'm
the
done.
parts. And,
If you tuned in, Hottest 100, going back, looking at the all-time greats, we had Smells Like Teen Spirit.
And that was the number one in '98, and we filled the gap for Australia because they can watch this video over and over, sitting in their paddling pools drinking 4X.
Nice, with your Union Southern Cross T-shirt.
Yep. All right. So why don't we?
Let's go back
History.
in time.
History.
50 years ago, and it's I can just about remember it. It was 1968.
What was in the charts then? Who was the Nirvana of 1968?
Well, I was reading a very cool link that someone sent me the other day. It was yourself.
Ah.
And it top 10 all-time great songs of 68, and one of them was Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Born to Be Wild, which is kind of cool. There was some Cream, some Janis Joplin, but so a few of these I know.
So 68, it's getting good in rock and roll, in my
pretty
opinion,
good.
because the Stones are starting to rock. It's before Summer of Love and then end of the era, 1970. So 69.
I watched
Woodstock, those kind of things.
I watched a great doco on Netflix. If you want a rock and roll doco, go and have a look at the Joe Cocker story.
Huh.
Joe Cocker, a crazy dude,
Englishman.
in Mad Dogs and Englishmen. And there's he went on tour with Leon Russell in the very early 70s, like 70, 71, and boy oh boy did they do some bad, crazy stuff. Crazy mad.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's look at Born to Be Wild. Speaking of which,
which is a song, you know, as a young man in the early 70s,
Yes.
I was convinced that song had been composed for a Suzuki motorcycle television ad. So what had happened was they'd clearly run out of money and licensed it to Suzuki to do a Born to be Wild, Get Out on the Highway ad. Now, you can only imagine my shock in my musical education 10 years later to discover it wasn't actually an ad jingle. There was another whole 2.5 minutes to it.
That's, you've got to make.
And now I live with this juxtaposition of a shitty ad and an amazing song.
Well, Search and Destroy by Iggy and the Stooges ended up on some sort of ad somewhere. I mean, just everyone's got to make money, especially the guys from Steppenwolf. I don't think they did that well.
No. Okay, so how does it go? We all know how it goes, but how does it go?
Some Stones. Well, no, we can do some Stones. I'll do it. I'll tell you what. Let's switch. I was going to do Born to be Wild. Would you? That's cool. One of the songs in that list was Jumpin' Jack Flash. So why don't we do a bit of both? We'll see how we're going for time.
It's all about 1968.
Yeah, we can
50
definitely
years
do it.
ago.
Okay, 68. Well, let's do stuff that we're going to do the Stones.
Well, no,
give me a beat chord.
Okay.
I'm going to play it as a double stop though. So I'm playing two notes at once.
Am I entirely in tune here? Okay. They all double stops.
So it's 5 and 4, 5 and 4, and then 4 and 3. A bit more of that. Yeah, that's it.
That's the opening song of the movie. I've forgotten the name of the movie. Oh.
On someone's phone?
No.
Is your phone on an app?
No. I'm getting a bit of crackle though, as happens in the world of vintage occasion. I'm just going to turn off for a second.
Oh. I'll just pop my amp off for one moment. Oh, no, there we go.
Do you think...
It was just a passing flux. There was a glitch in the matrix there.
I think we used up too much internet for South Melbourne momentarily.
Too much Stones. All right, so that's your Stones riff. That's for Simon Barber.
You reckon we're still on?
No, we're definitely on.
So, just a straight... So this is Stones still playing in a straight tune. So no fancy tuning?
He may have flicked this to open G. I don't think so. I reckon this is just straight out good old-fashioned tuning.
Okay, so a quick technique question for you. Do you leave your fingers on? Do you go... Or do you genuinely move them from?
Very good question, Nigel. I'm glad you asked that. No, I leave them on. Because if I'm playing that, and I want to get back to that, I'm already there. Right. I might move to get to there.
So you do lift and go down there for... Because I could completely cheat and have a barred B finger and play the whole damn thing without moving.
He probably does that. I mean, he plays that way anyway.
Yes. Actually,
I'll do some Mick Tayloring.
Okay, I'm going to go somewhere else because it's all right now.
Because it's
in fact,
it goes to a D, to an A.
Because in fact it's a gas.
Maybe to a G.
Because it's right. No.
No, it doesn't. Maybe it's an E to a B or a B to an E.
Retrieve.
I can't remember. Let's see, because it's... I think it's just an E and a B.
That's it. Yes.
Sweet.
That's a fun song.
That is a fun tune. Whenever I look at Keith Richards' face, it's a man who's had a lot of fun in his
Yeah,
life,
exactly.
You know? He's laughed so hard for so long that his face is permanently stuck, like the Joker from Batman or something.
He's lived a good life.
He has.
His face reminds me of the sort of
The
fretboard
divots in the fretboard of this delicious
It's a tiny
for
bit
sale
scalloped.
custom shop telly.
Yeah.
Look at that. Do we have time for one more? I don't
It's
know.
scalloped and wrinkled, and it's a bit grey in
I
places.
think we can go a bit longer. Didge, my executive, do you want to say a quick hello?
You know,
This is Didge. Oh, you will
remember-
appear.
It's like
You
my
will appear.
elbow
It's a-
was in the way before, but my
That's
face-
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
it'll.
Bye.
You'll
Have a good
you'll appear.
weekend.
It's like, thanks, Didge. Thank you, executive
Woohoo! There she is.
producer.
You
My
appeared.
producer is leaving the building. Goodbye, Didge. And someone is coming into the building.
It's probably.
Could be it might be Tracy, the 10 o'clocker.
There you go. Well, it's 10 o'clock.
See you, guy.
So 2018,
Guy.
2018, 1998, 1968. I think
Man.
we're cooked, mate.
We've done the 8s. G'day, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Very
Thank
good.
you.
All right.
Let's recap it very quick.
Yeah,
Yes, we
okay.
did some 8s. We did 1998.
So
We did-
the sad Nirvana. And then all
we have
easy.
lovely.
3 parts.
Then we went back to 68
Yeah.
and we did the
And that,
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
yeah.
And that was pretty much.
Well, we're going to get to
it.
Stephen Wolf, but we might hold that for next time.
We'll come back.
That 1968 top 10, I think we do it.
Let's do it next week. Next week, tune in and we'll be discussing the latest
Goss.
and the oldest.
The room will be full of Gibson guitars because we will have put my $50 together with a crowdfunding campaign
I'm
and
going to let you in on a little secret.
become
right
the
now.
distributor.
We are taking over Gibson USA right here. Nigel had $50. I probably can match that with $50.
I got some money in this pocket too.
Got some money.
Got some change.
Got some change.
5 cents.
We've got $100.05, and we're going to take over Gibson. Watch it happen. Right here. Well, thanks for joining us.
Night all.
40,000 people now, which is lovely.
See you, Neil.
Goodbye, Sir Neil, Greg, and everyone.
Yep.
Later.